And we're back. Anyway, let's go ahead and explore the rest of this area in our dream, shall we? My gait slightly unsure, I walked in the direction of the living area. The light of the room was already on. The structure of this room looked exactly the same as the two rooms I had seen earlier. I didn't feel anyone's presence. The inside was silent. Several articles of women's clothing had been left spread across the bed. Probably got wrinkled if they were left there like that. It's a very private atmosphere somehow. In other words, the 4 rooms in the corners of the institution are for private use. Which means that in this building there are at least 4 private rooms. In each room there's a single bed. The number of people in this institute can accommodate is 4, is what it seems. The scale of the building itself is quite large, but a surprising number of people it accommodates is so few. Also, this institution doesn't seem to hold the presence of many people either. I haven't met anyone at Sphia besides those 3. The other people involved with Sphia, the doctors, the nurses, for example, where were they and what were they doing? Perhaps the extra people didn't appear because it was a dream? Or was there an unusual situation happening? I shook my head a little. I'm just going around in circles. I left the room. That is something I was thinking about bringing up. We don't have an entrance to anywhere else in the facility, but at the same time, there does seem to be some evidence. Actually, it's entirely possible this is an autonomous facility, and people are observing from somewhere else. This computer worries me. The tower itself appears to be underneath the floor. The computer. Utsumi and Yuni were in the kitchen drinking tea. Hattori wasn't in the living area. She had disappeared through one of the 4 doors, the last remaining door. Or it could be possible the room belonged to Hattori herself. Since I didn't have anywhere else to go, I thought I'd take a little peek. Casually, I followed after Hattori. Just as I expected, the room had the same layout as the other 3. The only thing different in this room didn't have the feeling that it was being lived in. Also, there were sheets on the bed were in disarray. There wasn't anything else. The top of the desk was bare, and there wasn't any changes of clothes to be found. In the first place, there wasn't any human warmth. Cold, dreary atmosphere enfolded the room. What does Hattori, Inabushi Keiko, think about while living in this room of hers? Hattori herself wasn't in the room. Just where did she go? Just then a sound came from the bathroom. Wondering what it was, I peeked in. She's using the bathroom! What are you doing? Hattori was there. Water was rushing from the sink as she stared in the mirror. Her entire body was shivering. Holding her head, she yanked and tore at her own hair. Uh-oh. The sound of Hattori's wild breathings resounded in the bathroom. Huh? Hattori-chan? Glancing at her face, I became speechless. The expression I saw was full of anguish. Her mouth was open as though in a voiceless scream. Her eyes opened wide. She glared at the Hattori in the mirror. Hattori-chan, what's wrong? I put my hand on her shoulder and she shook it off violently. I lost my balance and bumped my head against the sink. A continuous dull pain in the back of my head became sharp, as if I'd been stabbed there. Water from the sink, which had been on the verge of overflowing before, was now spilling over. I was soaked. Now wasn't the time to be bothered by that. Tori's long black hair became disheveled as she violently shook her head. Is she deranged? It won't be good if this continues. Hattori-chan, calm down! Remember, I'm using a male voice because she's in a male body right now. Hattori began to moan louder and louder. Her voice? It can't be. Was the Inabushi Keiko personality awakening? If that's so, it'll be dangerous. I looked around my surroundings and searched for a means to escape. Before the murderous monster awakened, it might be better to run away. But Hattori's voice slowly transformed into a scream. Can't do screams very well, and I don't want to bother anybody else in the house, so that's my normal rule for streaming. If there's a scream going on, I'm probably not going to voice it. A ghastly shriek issued from her mouth. It's useless, I can't get free. Hattori-chan! Making an immediate decision, I grabbed her in a chokehold. No! In my arms, Hattori's entire body struggled violently. Even so, in spite of all the strength she was exerting, she seemed quite frail. No, it was me who'd become stronger. It's probably because my body is a man's. And then the strength abruptly left Hattori's body. Hattori-chan! Looking across to the mirror to see what was going on, it appeared as if Hattori lost consciousness. What's wrong? Possibly because she had heard the commotion, Utsumi came running, practically flying into the bathroom. Wood carbuncle. Okay. It's on his shirt. While holding up Hattori in my arms, I explained the situation to Utsumi. I see, so that's what happened. While muttering that, Utsumi held out a hand. I'll help. Shall we carry her to the bed? Utsumi and I both carried Tori to her bed and laid her down. You can go back now, Fuyugawa-san. Huh? I'll watch over her. You're tired as well, right? You can go to sleep now. Saying that, Utsumi took something out of her pocket. She presented it to me. They were pills, sealed inside a silver-colored package. There's probably water all over the floor right now. No, there's water everywhere. There were 2 white pills. Before you sleep, you should take these. You'll be able to sleep really well. Sir Matt, hello. Good to see you again. That would mean that there were sleeping pills, wouldn't it? I took the pills from Utsumi. Please take care of the rest then. Yes, good night. I live in a house. So if someone came to the door because I was being way too loud, it would be the police. Good Carbuncle is the best brand ever. I left the bed and went toward the door. Uni was standing beyond the door, which had been left open. Surely Uni had gotten curious as well and came to check on the state of things. Wonder how long he's been standing there. Hey, what happened? No, it was nothing. I was tired and didn't have the energy to explain. Besides, I didn't want to give Uni anything to worry about unnecessarily. Well, shall we go? I placed my hand on Uni's shoulder and urged him out of the room. Uni obediently followed. Hattori, who had stretched on the bed, appeared to turn over in her sleep as soon as the door shut. I returned to the place which Utsumi had told me was Yukido-kun's room and let out a sigh. The floor plan in the bathroom was the same as Hattori's. Why did she suddenly become deranged? And then there was her voice. Hattori let out a scream, even though she was supposed to have aphasia. Her vocal cords were still able to function, if is what it means. That she doesn't normally speak is probably due to mental factors, as I thought. Or it might be Enobushi Keiko had awakened. In that case, Tider Pro, I live in my parents' house. I don't have a job. If that's the case, is it right if she's not restrained? Isn't it dangerous? I feel insecure. I sighed deeply once again. Too many things were happening. In the shelter cabin, in this dream sphere. I don't have time to calm down. Somehow I'm awfully tired. Maybe better if I just got some rest like Utsumi told me to. I take out the pills that Utsumi handed me. If I take them and then swap bodies, Satoru's gonna be super unconscious. But if I don't take them, I might not get to sleep. But if she gave them to him, Satoru might need these pills. And he is injured. The only reason he's not reacting is because we're not reacting is because we're on some pain medication, apparently. Not functionally homeless, Tider Pro. So I guess not. Have you missed much? I don't know how long you were gone, Sir Matt. We've just been sorting out events ever since we swapped bodies, but this is an important decision, I think. I don't know who Utsumi is. She's taken on the role of taking care of everybody, but that doesn't mean that's actually her role. But if she can just pass out pills like this... Hello, this isn't a dating sim! I'm gonna take them because Satoru's injured and needs to rest. I decided to take them. Oops. Due to my nervousness, my mind was excited even though my body was tired. The way things are, I don't think I'll be able to sleep. But with these, you would. I walked to the refrigerator that was included in the room. I opened its door. There was a bottle of mineral water inside. A small 500ml PET bottle. Take them, swap bodies, annoy Satoru. There were 3 bottles all unopened. I took out one of them. I removed the cap from the bottle. A glass, there. Several glasses stood upside down in a row on top of the fridge. I picked one up and poured a third of the water in. Twisted the cap back on and returned the bottle to its place. Why don't you just drink from the bottle? I removed the pills from the package. They were white and circular. Suddenly thought of something. It'll be fine if I take 2 at once, right? I'd forgotten to confirm how many I was supposed to take. I'm thinking of the phrase sleeping pills. I can't help a negative mental image I have of them. If I take the wrong amount, it'd be the last time I ever go to sleep, never to wake again. I don't think you can OD on 2 sleeping pills unless they're extremely strong, or you take them with something really bad. But I'm not 100% certain on that. Certain the pills, made up my mind and popped them in my mouth and washed them down with water. It didn't taste like anything. With the medicine package empty, I returned the glass to the top of the refrigerator with a small amount of water remaining in it and left it there. It's so cold. It got a little colder. Of course, my body was soaked to the skin. I wanted to try to calm myself down and decided to take a bath. You're still in a guy's body. I don't think anybody here has played this before, Sir Matt. I don't know about Alu. I kind of doubt it. But Tadapro seems to not be familiar with it. If I take a while to catch my breath, some break in the mental deadlock might appear. Persuade myself with— Wait, don't take the pills and then take a bath? No! I might be carefree, but I wouldn't be able to hold myself together for much longer like this. No, this is the worst idea. After giving the bathtub a quick rinse, I began to fill it with hot water. Sat in the edge of the bathtub, doze off staring at the surface of the water. Engulfed in uncomfortable steam, I am attacked by drowsiness. Well, it's not simply a little drowsiness. I'm seriously sleepy. Feels like I'll just fall asleep like this. Almost feels as if I were dizzy. The inside of my head had become dull. My body was incredibly heavy. It was most likely the medicine taking effect. Shoot, I have to wake up. Suddenly heard sounds coming from the room. Maybe Uni had come to visit. Uni, is that you? I called the other room. No response. I poked my head out of the bathroom and inspected the state of the room. Enough sleeping pills to take down an elephant. Nobody was there. There wasn't any human presence. Was it just my imagination? I tilted my head and returned my eyes to the bathroom. The water looked warm and full of vitality. However, I'm so sleepy. All I'm doing is standing here, and even that, my feet are becoming unsteady. You can totally get game overs in visual novels. This is bad. If this is going to happen, I should have bathed before I took the pills. It happened again. Again I heard a sound. Must be Uni playing a prank on me. Jeez, I'm already so tired. I left the bathroom staggering. Turn the water off! There wasn't anyone in the room after all. Maybe he's hiding. Uni, stop messing around and come out already. There was no reply. I didn't feel anyone's presence. How weird. Just be certain I looked anywhere that could be used as a hiding place. I looked in the closet as well. Still, Uni was nowhere to be found. Leaving the room, I even poked my head in the living area. There wasn't anyone in the living area nor the kitchen. It seemed like everyone had returned to their rooms. The whole place was as silent as the grave. In that silence, I started to feel insecure. The entire institution didn't have much human presence at all. The body dysphoria will hit hard. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Oh, the tub is going to overflow. I panicked and turned back to the bathroom staggering. The hot water had already filled about 80% of the tub. I gently put my hand in and tested the water. A little hot. Heat felt nice. At the same time, my drowsiness increased even more. My hand continued to splash and stir the water in the bathtub. Wait a second. I'm a man right now. I became aware of a fatal error. There's no way I could get a bath naked when my body's a man's. It's kind of wrong. I remembered that scene from before and immediately recalled how cold it had been. And suddenly, the light in the room went out. What? It happened so suddenly and I was in a state of confusion trying to figure out what was going on. It was completely dark and I couldn't see a thing. And I'm on sleeping pills. If someone attacks me, I'm fucked. Just 2. Oh, Satoru, I really hope you can take care of whatever just happened. Alice in disorderly clothes. What the hell? Pure whiteness. Was it steam covering my field of vision? No, you're in the fucking blizzard, Satoru! What did you do? No, it was snow. The entire surface of the world in front of me was concealed in a layer of snow. What? I could feel someone's hands under my armpits. Facing up towards the sky, I could see my body was being dragged through the snow. Up until a few moments ago, I'd been covered by the warm steam of the hot bath in a bathroom. Now all of a sudden I was hit with a gust of chilly air. Cold! The cold pierced right through me. My entire body shook from the chill. I couldn't seem to gather up any strength. Oh, who's dragging me across the snow? Dragging me out of this place, a place this cold. No, they're trying to drag you back to the cabin, probably. One person's trying to kill me. No! I shook myself free from the hands underneath my arms. And just like that, I lost my support and collapsed with my body sprawling across snow. Help me! My lips were shaking and I couldn't even speak properly. They had frozen. That was when Yomogi stood over me and looked down toward me. He had a blank look on his face. Yomogi-san! Why is Yomogi here? He didn't pay attention to my look of confusion and once again stretched his arm toward me. Scrambling to get away from him, I pushed myself up. My foot couldn't get a proper grip because of the snow. It's really dark. The art team is saved on backgrounds. I can tell that there's definitely backgrounds here, so I don't think they did. With every step, my feet sunk deeper and deeper into it. Hey. What are you doing? I yelled out loud as I glanced back at Yomogi. His hands stretched out towards me. I slapped his hands away immediately. That's when I noticed a strange, uncomfortable feeling. For some reason, something didn't feel right around my chest. The usual feeling of support wasn't there. I touched my chest lightly. My bra. It's not on properly. It's unhooked. Pervert, molester, filthy old man, big stupid oaf! Covered my chest with my hands in a panic. You were gonna molest me? Where were you going to take me? An annoyed look appeared on Yomogi's face. He was acting kind of weird. He pointed his chin in the direction behind him. To the cabin. You don't want to die. You don't want to die yet, right? Or you don't want to die yet, right? Sorry, mix up voices. Through the blowing snow, I recognized a faint image of the cabin. It's the shelter cabin. I'm no more than 10 meters away from it. But I should be a Sphia. Could it be? I woke up from the dream? My quiet mutter disappeared in the sound of fierce wind. Pushing my way past Yomogi, I quickly made my way towards the cabin. When I ran inside the cabin, Uni and Mayuzumi were both there. So I really was back. Instead of saying I was back, I should say I'd woken up from my dream. Mayuzumi was, as always, wrapped in a blanket in front of the stove. She clicked her tongue lightly in disdain as she looked at me with suspicion. Uni, too, only looked at me from afar. Are you okay? I shook my head in silence, trying hard to catch my breath once again. The warm air inside the cabin soothed me a tiny bit. There was no way I could forget the one thing I needed to do. Pull my hands from my skirt and reach into my shirt to fix my bra in a hurry. I made my way to the stove and held my hands near it. My hand had turned bright red. There was no feeling in my fingertips. I was covered in snow from head to toe. Even my hair was dripping wet. I brushed the snow off me as I struggled to endure this torment. Hey, go over there, will you? This isn't time to worry about what she just said, since my body felt like it was completely frozen. Huh. When she realized I was ignoring her, she got up and moved to another spot. He handed me a small towel. I accepted it without a word and dried my wet hair. Yomogi had made it back to the cabin, closing the door behind him. He looked straight at me, his face telling me that he wanted to hear an explanation. But in the end, he didn't say anything. He just stood quietly near the door and brushed the snow off himself. If I could explain what had just happened, I would. But because I had absolutely no idea, there wasn't much I could do. Anyway, my body was now returning to normal. My heart and my body had also both returned to being those of Fuyukawa Kokoro. And that's all I can be certain of for now. No one said a single word. It seemed like something really strange had happened. There's no mistaking about that. But I don't know why everyone was so quiet. I stood beside the stove, puzzled. An uncomfortable silence filled the cabin. Nobody said a thing. Normally, Yunu would be joking around energetically. But he just glanced at me with a sad look on his face. What? What was I doing outside? I didn't direct the question at anyone in particular. Mayuzumi didn't respond. Yuni looked down at the floor. Yomogi turned to me and looked at me as if I was looking at a ghost. Soon he groaned in a serious manner. I see. He stood there nodding alone to himself, as if he had just figured out something. Yomogi-san, what is it? Wait a second. Yomogi scratched his head as he thought things over. So he sat down on a wooden stool and pulled it toward me. Let's see. You're Fuyukawa-san right now, right? Huh? Isn't that obvious? With hesitation in his voice, Yomogi continued. No, Yukido-kun did explain it to me, but can you go through it one more time? Yukido? I heard that name before. The name that appeared in my dream. Are you talking about Yukido Satoru? Yeah, that's right. It's about him, the other personality inside of you. My head felt dizzy. Unable to stand up any longer, I sat down across from Yomogi. Could he be talking about me suffering from DID again? But you don't know about Yukido-kun, do you? Yeah, I don't know him. I don't know him, but at the same time I do. Really strange thing to say. And yet there was really only one way to describe it. Alright, that's fine. Anyhow, I do think you should have realized by now, but you or him until just a few moments ago. Do you know what DID is? I knew it. I couldn't help but let out a sigh. Dissociative identity disorder. That's right. They seem to have developed multiple personalities due to the shock of the crash. Was I dreaming again? Was this shelter cabin a dream too? If that was the case, what was the time I spent at Sphia a reality? But I'm a woman! I'm absolutely 100% a woman! But perhaps realizing from the look in the face that I was getting angry and angrier, Yomogi quickly explained. Well, I don't really believe it either, but that's what he said. The person Yomogi was looking at was Uni. Uni did? What would a young boy like him have such expert knowledge about DID? Did he know something? I looked at him, questioning him with my eyes, and he did give me an explanation. There was nothing I could do, so I left him alone. I had the gist of what had happened. I'll worry later about whether I'm really suffering from DID or not. Why was Yukito Satoru out there? Most likely trying to escape. I wonder if it's because he didn't believe what I said. I think he didn't want to admit he was in reality nothing more than an alternate personality born inside Kokoron. My heart skipped a beat. That way Uni spoke, it was as if he knew everything. Just as I thought, he... Enough of this! Suddenly, Mayuzumi yelled out in frustration. Flinging off her blanket, she jumped to her feet. She glared at me with her eyes wide open. How long are you planning on being led around by this girl's lies? Looks like she's trying to say I made this all up. I'm not lying or anything. Shut up! I'm not gonna be played by you like this. She looked at me as if she were gonna hit me at any moment. Her eyes looked so angry it made me take a couple steps back from her. Then why don't you tell me? Yomogi lit a cigarette. Taking a puff, he pointed towards Mayuzumi with the hand holding the cigarette. Butterfly dream recursion stuff? Tell me, why do you think she's lying? That caught Mayuzumi off guard. Because... Biting her lip, she fell silent. Do you have your own reasons to suspect she's lying? Why the hell should I tell you? If you know something I don't convince you to share it with me, it will bother me so much that I won't be able to sleep. I'm not here to help you sleep. Mogi chuckled as he took another puff. I don't understand you two at all. It looks like there's a lot going on I don't know, but I felt the same way too. I need someone to explain to me what's going on. Mayuzumi, just now you spoke as if you knew who Yukito Satoru was. Fuyukawa-san, no, I mean Yukito-kun, seems to know about Mayuzumi too. You denied it just now. You two really know each other, don't you? Uh-oh. Guess we're finding out what Mayuzumi's connection to all this is. Again with that just now. What exactly did he mean when he said just now? Yomogi looked straight at me, who was getting even more confused. I quietly shook my head. First time I'd ever met Mayuzumi was in his cabin. How about you, Mayuzumi? No, at least definitely not this girl. At least. So does this mean you know Yukito-kun? I don't see any business that is of yours. This is so stupid. I'm not talking to you guys anymore. Mayuzumi did know the person named Yukito Satoru. Her reaction said it loud and clear. I didn't know what kind of relationship the two of them had. One thing was certain, it was something Mayuzumi was angry about. As things stand now, it had already gotten quite awkward between us. We were supposed to be coming together and doing our best to make it through this, but now the atmosphere in the cabin had gotten worse. Because shut up, yeah. So I want to know more about her relationship, but I'm afraid that she'll just clam up. But at this point, if I don't ask more about the relationship, I'm afraid that that she won't make the connection that she's swapping bodies and doesn't have the ID. Mayuzumi-san? What? I followed behind her. You know, don't you? Know what? You know about this person named Yukito Satoru. Please tell me. Just who is he? And where is he? He's real, isn't he? Look on her face grew darker and darker, but in spite of that, I had to get it out of her. Why do I know him? Why? Suddenly a slap flew across my face. Hot burning sensation floated up to my cheeks. Article 38, paragraph 1 of the Constitution. No person shall be compelled to testify against himself. You do know the right to remain silent, don't you? I have no need to tell you anything. Hey, Mayuzumi. Shut up. That doesn't really apply in this situation. And instead of bothering me, you should be making dinner. Up to it. Jeez, what a moron. She pointed at Yomogi as she vented her anger at him with those words. I'm starving over here. Alright, we haven't had anything to eat yet. I bet that's the reason Mayuzumi is so irritated. Alright, let's make something to eat already. Water looks like it's already boiling. says he glanced over the aluminum pot sitting on top of the stove. White steam rose up from the aluminum pot. So what are we having today? Uni asked as he peeked in the cardboard box where all the emergency rations were kept. Yeah, I wonder. Yomogi thought about it for a while then. What does everyone want to eat? He inquired of us. Stew, rice porridge, or chukadon, Chinese-style rice bowl. I don't really have a preference, so I'll say stew. Stew! All three of us answered in perfect unison. A unanimous decision, huh? Actually, I was just thinking about how much I wanted some stew as well. Just as I thought, the first meal we eat should be something delicious. As he nodded his head and murmured, Yomogi took out servings of stew in cardboard boxes. Okay then, everyone get their bowls ready. We quickly took the bowls and spoons out of the cardboard boxes. But it really is kind of incredible. In fact, the four of us all agreed on what to eat. It was as though the moment I had decided I want to eat some stew, that thought broadcast to everyone else. Now maybe we can think of it as another way. Also, hold on. I've neglected to save until now. There we go. Much better. But we can think of it another way. From the very beginning, everyone's decision had already been determined. That's not exactly it either. I'm not typed to believe in fate. Oops. There we go. I don't believe in that kind of dream. It's not that kind of... I'm just not that kind of romantic. Maybe you can try thinking of it like this. Everyone's decisions were all made by some kind of unseen existence. Yeah, right, I'm such an idiot. There's no way something like that would happen. Stew choice bad end. Yeah, let's hope not. That does sound a bit romantic, doesn't it? Let's try to shake off the strange idea as I put the stew ingredients Yomogi had handed me into a bowl. What was the beeping? I just heard a beep. That was weird. It was very, very silent. Oh, by the way, I asked suddenly as I brought the warm stew to my lips, whatever happened to the newspaper article? And with that single question, the article had thawed froze once again. I may have said something I shouldn't have. I didn't want to think about the newspaper article in the first place. So why did I ask a question like that? It feels so strange, so unbelievable. It's gonna become conscious of an existence I couldn't see. When I looked at Mayuzumi, the hand she was eating with had stopped cold, and the spoon was holding clattered against her bowl. She was shaking. If you want a newspaper article, we put it on that shelf. I looked over and sure enough, there it was. It seemed really different last time I'd seen it. It seemed like it was patched up messily. In other words, it had been taped together after being ripped into pieces before. She ripped it up. I had a feeling that would happen. Oh, you don't remember. That newspaper article you tore up. When you became Yukido-kun. We all fixed it up to how it was before. Tore it up? I did. You don't remember that either. Yes. It's true the moment I read the newspaper article, I really was destroyed by the shock. I do remember using my strength to do something, but did I really rip it? Maybe I did after all. I wasn't too sure whether I'd ripped it or not. That part of the memory seemed so vague, especially because at the exact moment my head had gone completely blank. Well, it's fine. I'm already used to you being like that. I think it would be best not to pay any attention to that newspaper article. That thing, it's probably someone's idea of a prank. Yomogi said, his voice almost a groan. It's the only thing I can think of to explain it. What the hell? How can you be easily certain of that? Mayuzumi slammed her bowl on the table, as if something she had been holding in until now had exploded within her. How could it possibly be a prank? If it was a prank, then the guy who made this newspaper article would have had to predict the crash of HAL 18. The four of us surviving, us making it to shelter cabin, the guy would have had to know all of this. A prophet? Or perhaps someone who can predict the future? Or even Laplace's demon? Laplace's demon. I actually don't know the pronunciation, so forgive me. A concept proposed by Pierre-Simon Laplace, a French mathematician and philosopher. Suppose there exists a demon, that is an entity that possesses the ability to know at a certain moment the state of all things in the universe. And no matter how brief the moment is, it would always be enough for the demon to unravel everything that happened in the past and will happen in the future. What Laplace was trying to say with that was basically everything which occurs in the world has been predetermined from the beginning, that no matter how big or small an event is, its occurrence is by no means accidental and is in fact inevitable. In philosophy, this is called causal determinism. I hate that philosophy, by the way. Mayuzumi. And what reason would anyone have for playing such a prank in the first place? Why threaten us like this? Mayuzumi, calm down. Is he following us around with a camera right now then? Is some guy gonna pop out and suddenly say, "You're on candid camera"? This is all just idiotic. Mayuzumi snapped as she stared at Yomogi. Calm down, Mayuzumi. You're not making sense. So you think this newspaper is real? Or do you think it's fake? Well... Mayuzumi went quiet all of a sudden. I guess that's a natural reaction. Newspaper article is real. That means the three of us have already died. 6 days later, on January 17th. To believe the newspaper article is real is the same as accepting our deaths. It's not that she believes it's fake. It's that she doesn't know what to believe it's real. It doesn't want to believe it's real either. I understand the conflict of Mayuzumi very clearly. Well then, Mayuzumi, suppose we say the newspaper article isn't a prank. If it isn't a prank, then can you explain it? It still can't be explained, can it? I think that was a localization interpretation. Why is our newspaper article from the future in a place like this? But I had the same exact thought, Alu. I just didn't voice it. We're just going around in circles. Even when we think about it, we won't get anywhere. There's no way we can come to a conclusion about it. And if that's the case, we might as well forget about it, right? Does that sound good? Just think of it like this. No matter how we explain it, the result is the same. Because it's not something that can be explained, no matter what we do. If so, let's just think positively. That newspaper article is just a prank. And all of us want to make it back alive for sure. Isn't that better than worrying about it? Right? Got it. I'll forget about it. Good. Everyone else too, is that okay with you? Okay. Yep. The place is pronounced... Hey, that's not pronounceable. You should have made it something pronounceable and I would have actually tried. Aw, I'm disappointed in you, Matt. Both of us nodded. I too felt the same as Yomogi. If it's something bad, then we might as well forget about it. In some ways, it's one of the strongest defense mechanisms that I've learned in life so far. And you probably think so too. Anyway, I'm glad. I was worried about how bad the situation was going to get, but for now at least everyone's panic has subsided. The panic that had been stirred up by the creepy piece of newspaper has disappeared, as if forgotten, and that's good enough. I finished eating dinner, so I'm going to bed. Mayuzumi muttered as she picked up her blanket and made her way to the top bunk. The bowl she had slammed on the table just a while ago was completely empty. After a while, the rest of us finished our humble meals as well. Well then. After taking out his portable ashtray and putting up a cigarette, Yomogi stood up. And it's getting much too late already. To make sure the fire doesn't go out, we should take turns sleeping. I'll take the first shift. But... It's okay. You should get some sleep as well. Slowly I stood up. I caught a glimpse of the watch on my wrist. It's already approaching midnight. Hey! Yuni tugged on my hand. Looked up in my eyes with like an abandoned kitten's. Kokoron, can we sleep together? He's 11, people. Don't you dare. I couldn't help but smile gently at him. Great idea. His face lit up immediately. The two of us squeezed into the bottom bunk. Covering ourselves with blankets, we curled up into a ball. Soon I could hear Yuni's quiet, peaceful breathing as he fell asleep. His sleeping face was as peaceful and adorable as an angel's. His body was warm. It is? Oh. Well, fuck that noise. I'm not even gonna try. Kirk Dog! Thank you for the host, I appreciate it. I am now being chased by the ghosts of your viewers! Or your viewers, actually, I don't know. I just thought that was a cute animation and it was fitting for a host. Heard it from Fullmetal Alchemist, the animation. Oh yeah, I think I've seen that! I think I saw the Fort Coma that it was originally from. Oh no, wait! I remember that animation. I totally remember that animation. I have seen it. That one was great. I remember it now. The voice actors, I don't know how they managed to actually pronounce that. That was great. I really wanted to believe his warmth was not just a dream. Hey, Yomogi-san. I called out to him as he sat with his back to me. What's wrong? I want to make sure just one more time. Did I really call myself Yukito Satoru? After a short pause. Yeah. I see. Good night. Good night. I closed my eyes. With that said, I couldn't fall asleep at all. And whenever I tried to be still, endless thoughts ran through my mind, going deeper and deeper, like an endless bog. Even if I kept thinking about it over and over again, I was still so far from coming up with an answer. What had happened to me? Yomogi said that I had multiple personalities. Same thing Utsumi said in that dream when I was at Sphia. Was that really the truth? That time I spent in Sphia even a dream? Is the Kokoro lying here in the bed in the shelter cabin even real? Which one is the dream and which is reality? Perhaps both of them are a dream. Perhaps both are reality. When I lost consciousness in the shelter cabin, who was it that was controlling my body? Yomogi, Mayuzumi, and even Uni confirmed it, so it probably was not a mistake. Not just a mistake. It appears that the person who was controlling my body introduced himself as Yakido Sudaru. Meanwhile, when I was at Sphia, my body also belonged to Yakido Sudaru as well. Multiple personality disorder can't explain that. And both felt much too real to be explained as dreams. So then what are they? I can only think of one answer to that. Both are reality. Multiple personality disorder alone can't explain what's happening to me right now, because I was still me when I was inside Satoru's body, as there's still a connection to my own memories while I was there. So it's probably natural to suddenly come up with the explanation. My consciousness has been mutually switching between one world here and the world there. Regardless of whether that sounds logical, I couldn't think of any other explanation. A bitter laugh echoed inside my heart. It's just like a science fiction novel, but this is reality. Perhaps I and this person named Satoru are exchanging consciousness with each other for some reason. When I'm in my body, he's in my body. He's in his body. When I'm in his body, he's in mine. That must be it. She's finally making the connection! And I think about it. Last thing I remember about Sphia was being in the bathroom. At that time, bathroom lights had suddenly gone out. I think I remember feeling a sense of danger then. What exactly happened after that? If we are indeed exchanging consciousness with each other, I wonder if Satoru person is alright after that. Totally needs to create a Twitch account with that username. Okay. There is so much Yugen Wetson face and master WhatsApp Fez that's on my screen now that's the only thing chat sees. I want to believe that he's okay. It would seem that I've already accepted that our consciousnesses are switching. No, perhaps I could even say I'm forcing myself to accept it, because if I didn't, it would have driven me insane already. I've tried to come up with an explanation and calm myself down first. How long has this phenomenon been going on for? If only this were the last time, then it would be fine, but it wasn't guaranteed that there wouldn't be another switch while I was sleeping, leading to me waking up as Sphia once again. I had no idea whether transfer would begin again after that. Since we had no clue why this phenomenon was happening in the first place, after the next transfer, it was possible that they might just stop happening altogether. If that's the case, then I would end up who knows where in some stranger's body for the rest of my life. If the other person was a girl, it wouldn't be so bad, but it had to be a boy? As if I'm androgynous. This is an important word to know. Androgynous, from the Greek, meaning one, a person who possesses both sexes. An existence is a combination of both male and female sex. It also kind of just means the modern definition is more that it's vague or genderless to a certain degree, though not quite. That is mostly accurate. Or maybe it should be called gender identity disorder. Uh-oh. I'm a bit worried about this one. A state in which a person's body is morphologically normal, but they feel that the physical sex is at odds with their gender, and consider themselves to actually be a member of the opposite sex. That's not a disorder! Game! I was so on board! But this is not a disorder. To be fair, they seem to be trying to use a lot of psychological terms, and yes, this was a psychological term. Psychology's not been exactly at the forefront of handling things like this well. Gender identity disorder is not a thing. It's called being trans. It is not a disorder. I just want to make that absolutely clear. That is it, even if it's still in the DSM, which I don't think it is not a thing. Half your age plus 7, Yugni and Gokuro would have to wait 12 years. Oh, right. All the Tumblr people are going to pick it outside your stream tomorrow. Dude, I'm specifically on their side on this. Psychology, modern psychology, I believe, is on their side. There are probably still people who think gender identity disorder is a thing, and they might have psych degrees, in which case they're fucking morons. I don't care how much more education than me they probably have. Fuck them. Anyway, half your age plus 7 rule. This game is old. That if it's based on old DSMs, then yeah, but even back then, a lot of people were aware that the DSM is imperfect. Especially since it used to consider homosexuality a disorder. It's flawed. The current state of the DSM, as I know it, is almost entirely biological psychology based, which is not great. You want to be interdisciplinary in psychology whenever possible, because one discipline is not the best treatment for all things. I think it was slower to change from GID to transgender in Japan as well, though. That's also entirely possible. I don't know the cultural context. I think Japan is... they handle that situation a lot differently, so that's also possible. In which case, like, I'm not totally mad at this game for doing this. Especially with how old this game is, and being based in Japan, they don't... they might have been even further behind the terminology and such, which happens. It's not really something... I say it's not something to be mad about. That's actually an individual choice, and I don't want to say that you're not allowed to be mad at something. It's totally understandable, especially when it has to do with your personal identity of all things. But let's go ahead and move on. Hopefully this is the biggest misstep they make in that sort of in this arena of conversation. If I was actually sick, I could accept that. That hurts. But this isn't some sickness. Something's going on here. Something I can't even imagine. Alright, give me a moment. You might hear some beeping and stuff. I need to turn on the fan, because it's really hot. How much time had passed that I thought about these things over and over again? I hear the faint sound of the blizzard blowing outside, assuming like it was going to subside anytime soon. As I rolled over on my bed, I sneaked a peek at Yomogi. He had told us he was going to take turns watching the fire, but he didn't seem to want to switch, and he simply sat in front of the red flame, staring contently. He had a somewhat serious look on his face. Was he not sleepy? Or was he just looking out for us? I couldn't seem to sleep either. Might as well switch shift with him. I was just about to tell him. Hey, I heard a shuffling sound from the top bunk. Is Mayazumi up too? Get me some tea. You weren't sleepy? What does it matter to you? Sighing, Yomogi stood up and boiled some water. When Yomogi went to prepare the tea, Mayazumi came down from her bed. I quickly closed my eyes as she took a quick glance over at me and Yuni. Jeez, why am I pretending to sleep anyway? She didn't sleep that soundly, huh? Must be nice to be so carefree. You were just sleeping soundly yourself until a few moments ago. I want to say that, but I stopped myself. Hurry up and go to sleep. You're not sleeping? Don't tell anybody about this. The truth is, I'm just waiting patiently for a chance to pay her a little midnight visit. What? Mogi's really that kind of man? My body shook with fear in my bed. Scumbag. Her voice was cold. Article 174 of Criminal Law. Person who commits an indecent act in public shall be punished by imprisonment with work for not more than 6 months. A fine of not more than 300,000 yen, misdemeanor imprisonment without work, or a petty fine. I can't stand dirty jokes. She seems to be a lawyer. Oh, it's just a joke. Well, it scared me. That's really too bad. But don't worry, I wouldn't go after you even by mistake. Hurry up and make some tea. I'm just kidding. Don't ever talk again. Complaining under his breath, Yomogi went downstairs. Sighing a little, Mayazumi sat down in front of the stove. Pretending to be asleep, I shook my head slightly. Mayazumi was the kind of person I couldn't get along with, so I kept trying my best to avoid her. She herself probably hated me, too. I didn't know it was a bad thing to have developed like this. Just like Yomogi had said, we were in a situation where everyone must help each other. If I told her how I felt about her, then things between us might get to an unsalvageable point. But I just can't get along with her. Why? I could barely hear her low, quiet voice. Even though it's already been so long. This isn't like me at all. Is she talking to herself? Her voice is no longer as sharp as it was before. For some reason, it almost sounded lonely. Intrigued, I opened my eyes to take a peek. Curled up in a ball in front of the stove, Mayuzumi stared fixedly at something she was holding in her hands. A photo? My eyes looked ever closer. It was a photo of Mayuzumi. A younger Mayuzumi. Like a carefree young girl, she looked at the camera with a truly blissful smile on her face. An expression so calm and peaceful, it was like she was only the person she trusted completely was looking at her. The Mayuzumi in the photo shone so brightly. I wondered what thoughts were running through her head as she gazed at this photo. Satoru. My heart skipped a beat when I heard those quiet words. Just now I was certain I heard Mayuzumi whisper Satoru. Just as I thought, she knows Yukido Satoru. I wanted to push her harder to get the truth. For some reason I couldn't do it. So I just felt too guilty digging into her past like this. Plus, even if I asked, I probably still wouldn't get an answer from her. I gently closed my eyes. Mayuzumi was also fighting. She acts like she's tough, but in reality she too is troubled and anxious. I'm not the only one suffering. I held Uni's body tightly in my arms, so I wouldn't forget the warmth if something were to happen to us, so I could remember that I was not alone. If nothing else, just being here right now is enough for me. January 12th, the second day. Discrepancies between genders. Oh, this is going to be great. I'm not looking forward to this game's interpretation of gender politics. Let's just say. And the bottom of the bottom of the bottom of the deep cave. On the other side of the other side, the other side of the grim, grim darkness. Beyond, beyond, beyond the deep abyss. Felt as if I was falling. Anywhere and everywhere. This sense of loss. No, it's not right. Nothing had been lost. There was nothing to begin with. Not a thing. There weren't a single thing here. Emptiness. Pure emptiness. There was nothing else other than the pure emptiness. But if indeed there was nothing here whatsoever, then what about me, the person experiencing this emptiness? Who is the existence known as I? This emptiness is like zero. Does zero really exist? If it really exists, then what is this zero? If it doesn't exist, then what does one actually become one? And just like that, from the interval between 0 and 1, was forcibly ripped out. Ow! What? Uh-oh. When I came to my senses, my head was lying on a desk. I was holding a pen in my right hand. She's left-handed, by the way, we've established that. As if I had fallen asleep without realizing it. A deep, deep dreamless sleep. No, maybe I did have a dream. I was all muddled and confused. It was as if some puzzling, incomprehensible image was spinning over and over in my mind like a vortex. It was not the same as that feeling you get when you just wake up. It was a different feeling of confusion. In fact, if I had just woken up, it would be surprising if my mind was clear. All I could feel was some slight tiredness. I couldn't understand too well, even if I thought about it. But I fell asleep and then woke up when I knocked my head on the desk. Isn't that a little strange? I was sleeping in the bed. I don't remember moving toward the desk at all. Now that I think about it, there was no desk in the cabin. Then what is this place? As I started to panic, I calmed down and scanned the surroundings, pondering. There was a bed, a desk, and a closet in the room. They were all very tidy and organized, giving off a clean, cozy feeling. At the same time, I also felt hollow and fake because of it. And if things like human warmth had been ripped out by the roots. I finally understood. This is Sphia. I looked back at the hand. Those hands were rugged and large, not like the hands that belonged to Fuyukawa Kokoro I was familiar with. I transferred again, huh? I muttered as I let out a sigh. Suddenly I realized I had to pee. I stood up and opened the door to the unit bath near the exit in the room. Each room was equipped not only a shower but a toilet as well. I rubbed my sleepy eyes and reached for my belt and froze. This is a man's body, so in order to relieve myself, that would mean... I looked down timidly. There was a strange feeling between my legs. In other words, I have to use my hands and hold on to that. I have no other choice. Because right now my body is a man's body. I'm just doing this in order to take care of normal biological process, that's all. I'm not touching it for any weird reason or anything. I understood all that in my mind. But still, I can understand that it weirds her out. It's totally understandable. I mean, it's not her body. She's like, that's a little intimate. Totally understandable. I burst out of the washroom and fell prostrate in the middle of the bedroom. Calm down. Calm down, me. The game's OST is so cool. This is currently the BGM of Scheme. Kokoro chapter. Wait, what? Huh. Interesting. Deep breath. Take a deep breath. It was because I was just too shaken up, but I couldn't even take proper deep breaths. If I had paid more attention to myself, I would have noticed it was almost as if I were giving birth. An uncomfortable feeling was radiating from my abdomen. Intense urge to pee was building and building there. Oh no. Oh no. If this keeps up, I won't be able to call myself an adult. I'm already 20 years old. Grown up. An adult. As an adult. No, as a woman. No, as a human being. I cannot. Must not. Wet my pants. That's right. I'm just going to the washroom, that's all. No big deal at all. You know, guys can pee sitting down too. Just saying. I crept back into the bathroom. What am I doing talking to myself? The question suddenly crossed my mind, but I pushed it back to the back of my head. Yeah, just do it like always. Just pull down your pants and then sit down on the toilet. Don't look down. Just do that and everything will be alright. I can do it. I can do it! Cheering myself on, I lowered my pants just like I'd always done. Just like a normal trip to the bathroom, I took a seat on the... And once again, I burst out of the washroom. I fell to my knees, hanging my head in the middle of the bedroom. I usually go to the washroom. I'm ready to do all this hard work just to aim! Okay, that was good. That's great. That's hilarious. Okay, so, anecdote time. I was in a psychology class. I think it was developmental? I don't remember. It was one of my psychology classes. And the subject of childbirth came up. Because obviously if you're talking about developmental psychology especially, you're going to be talking about the birth process. And how it affects, how it can affect certain things. Now, one of the students, a guy, was very curious about something. It was actually something I was curious about too, but he asked the question. He was just so embarrassed to ask this question, but he really, really wanted to ask this question. And it was, like I said, it was something I was really curious about too, and I was actually about to ask the question myself, probably in a more confident way than he did. So he stands up really nervous, and well, it doesn't stand up, he just raised his hand to ask a question. He was like, okay, I really don't know how to word this, but how does it feel to give birth? And a bunch of the women in the classroom laughing. Now keep in mind this was a community college, so especially in community college, not just state colleges, you get a lot of different age groups. At the time, I was about 25, so I was actually on the older end of most of them, except that wasn't true at all in this classroom, because we had people in the 30s and 40s, etc., etc. You had much older people. So one of the things that happened was, after everybody laughed, she tried to clarify a bit. And what he was actually asking, and what I was going to say, was, he was asking, what's the sensation of using the muscle group required for the birthing process? Which is something not a lot of people think about. It's a sensation that guys really wouldn't experience. We wouldn't necessarily understand it, because we don't really have a context for how that muscle group works. Except apparently we do. Because the teacher, who, she never had children before, she said, would one of the ladies who's had children before like to answer that question? And this older lady, who was hilarious, by the way, I loved her in this class, she just shouted out, "It feels like pooping." Not kidding. That's word for word what she said. I was just, the entire class was just rolling laughing. And I'm like, that's good information to know. That's something I never would have thought of, what the sensation of using the muscles was. But it was just so funny hearing her shout that with no sense of shame. And I mean, it's not that she should ever feel shameful about that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying this woman was great, because she would say anything that came to mind and just be totally flat out honest about it. It was fantastic. So she shouted that out. Apparently, giving birth feels like pooping. With that, I think it's time for our next break. So get up, stretch, whatever you need to do, be able to keep watching comfortably, and I'll be right back.